NFL playoffs are here and the action is heating up over on Fantasy Spin. I got Jim Coventry with me here to break down all of the action happening on Sunday. We're going to spin two different lineups here coming up next. So if you want to spin to win on Fantasy Spin in the wild card round, stay tuned. Everything you need to know coming up next. Like I mentioned, that is Jim Coventry. Find him over on X at Jim Coventry NFL. So, Jim, the regular season is behind us. We're on to the playoffs. We're focusing on Sunday here. So, for those, I know you're an avid fantasy spin player as well. So, for those wanting to spin to win on Sunday, we're going to first focus on the early and late slate main event. So, just Bills, Jags, 49ers, Eagles. What do we need to know? What are the matchups we're looking to exploit? Who are the players we got to have?
Yeah, this is going to be a great one. Really excited about this. Two games, both have a shootout potential. I know everybody's saying the Eagles, dominant defense. You know what? They got a problem at second corner. They got a problem at safety. And they got Kyle Shanahan coaching up an offense against that. I think all four of these teams have players that we're going to be excited when we spin them. There's going to be a lot of players like, yeah, I want that player in my lineup. And there aren't too many players I'm looking to avoid. So I can't wait to see how this shakes out.
And we got 5 spins. We got 4 locks to do it. There's definitely some players I have my eyes on, and I'll be curious if you're as bullish on certain players as I am. And I'm really hoping one of them comes up first. And the guy I want to talk about doesn't come up, which is fine, but let's go right up to the top. So in this contest, it's 3 flex spots, and then the other 3, you do need a dedicated quarterback, a dedicated running back, a dedicated wide receiver. We get Josh Allen up there in the quarterbacks. There's actually a really good slate for quarterbacks with Allen, Lawrence, Hurts, and Purdy. Is Josh Allen, in your eyes, Jim, going to be the highest scoring quarterback amongst those 4?
I almost don't know how he's not. Again, I expect shootouts in both of these games, more so in the Jacksonville Bills game. And if any playoff year, Josh Allen realizes this is his chance, they might be a 6 seed. They might be on the road. But there's no Mahomes. There's no Lamar. There's no Burrow. And talk about a player that has no issue putting the team on his back, running, passing, anything he has to do. I think he wills the points to the board, and I think he's going to light it up for fantasy spin players.
I agree. He is the dual threat quarterback in the best game environment, honestly, of all of Wild Card Weekend, to be honest, not even just Sunday. So I am bullish on Josh Allen. James Cook has been phenomenal for fantasy purposes as well, but for a good chunk of this year, Jacksonville has been really tough to run against. But again, you got James Cook, we got McCaffrey, we got Saquon. Do we lock in James Cook as our dedicated running back here?
You know, obviously, getting McCaffrey in full PPR is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. Look, Saquon, maybe an easy matchup, but he's had easy matchups, and Kevin Patullo, the coach, has no clue how to use them. So, James Cook, here's what I'll tell you. Yes, on paper, it's a bad running matchup. Mm-hmm. The Bills are going to use 6 offensive linemen. They're sometimes going to put in a second and a third tight end. And the one area where Jacksonville's not great against the run is when a player starts inside and he bounces to the outside. They're very good downhill. And I remember all that tape of James Cook busting those outside runs for 40 and 50 yards. I think he's having a huge game here too.
I like James Cook. And you can look like over the final 6 weeks of the regular season versus running backs, Jacksonville, 3rd fewest rush yards per game, 5th lowest explosive run rate, but they were only about league average in terms of yards per contact before attempt. And if you get James Cook with a head of steam, I don't like the matchup for anybody there. So I like locking in James Cook. The only other guy on here that I think is semi-interesting is Parker Washington. Again, on paper, Buffalo half decent against receivers and really against slot receivers too. But Parker Washington has really been the wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville. So how can we turn down the recent wide receiver 1 in, once again, the best game environment on Sunday?
9, 10, and 10 targets in the last 3 games. That's like Puka level involvement, not Puka level production, but that involvement's kind of crazy. Now, the Bills do have a really good slot corner, Teron Johnson, but we know how the Bills defense is built. They want to stop explosive plays. That means they're going to usually give you stuff underneath. There's a lot of good players on the slate. A lot of them are probably way better than Parker Washington. But what do you think, Colby? Is the volume king here?
I like it. And here's the one thing. Again, the beauty of stats is that you can make it prove whatever point or whatever narrative you're trying to push, right? So someone can easily say a stat and I can be like, well, but look at this number. And I'll just say this. Final 6 weeks of the season, Buffalo loves to run 2 high safeties. That's what they love to do. Over the final 6 weeks of the season, Washington had 4.42 yards per route run against 2 high safeties. Again, you can also make the numbers whatever you want it to be, but he's been darn good of late. So I say yes. I'm driving here. We're going to lock in Parker Washington. And the beauty of this is if our next spin comes up with A.J. Brown, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley, we easily just unlock Parker Washington, lock someone else in. So, hey, first spin, Allen, Cook, and Washington. No complaints on my end. So we'll go ahead and spin it and get those kickers off the screen there. Dallas Goedert and Jawan Jennings are interesting. We don't quite know about Ricky Pearsall as we're recording this on Thursday afternoon. Are you locking in Goddard or Jennings? Do either of them jump off the page?
Goddard, I don't know if it's a serious injury. I doubt it is. I expect he'll play. And he's got 11 touchdowns this season, and they love getting him the ball. The Eagles' offense has not been reliable. Mm-hmm. And if all of a sudden they decide, well, somebody else scoring the touchdowns, 11 was that did not fit with Goddard's usage.
Yep.
It's a real tough pull to put a tight end in there. What do you think?
I don't love it. If someone could pull the transcript from every fantasy spin show we've done this season, I don't think one positive thing has ever been whenever Kevin Patullo's name or Eagles offense was mentioned, I don't think it's been positive at all.
Nope.
It's been very, very negative. And Jawan Jennings is in that wide receiver spot. Again, I think maybe in a flex, you could sell me on it. And if we were down to 1 or 2 spins, but A.J. Brown's one of my favorite players overall this weekend. So I would love for him to come in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't even mind another Jacksonville receiver. I think we can go there. So many different options we can go. I think this is going to be a lockless spin, I think is what happened here. So we'll push the luck here.
That ain't helping.
No, that isn't going to do it. Ty Johnson does have one of my favorite player props for the weekend with his receiving yards, but I don't want it here.
Well, guess what? He's missed 2 practices this week, so you might not have him on the field.
Oh, lovely. Even better. So let's move right on. And for some reason, they really want us to have Jahan Dotson, but we're going to say no. So,
wow.
All right. Well, as happy as we were after spin number 1, we have nothing to show for it on spins 2, 3, and 4. Now,
the issue has been forced.
That's right. But I will say this. If you haven't seen the Saturday show yet that I spun with Pat Fitzmaurice, our final spin netted Puka Nacua and Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
That was the final spin. So maybe this one is where we see CMC and A.J. Brown. Well, you can take it up with Pat. He took all the luck from you, Jim.
He did take
all the luck. We wasted it. Hey, Pearsall's intriguing. Khalil Shakir, he's I wrote about it this week. He is the only wide receiver for Buffalo you can trust.
Right.
Very loosely, air quotes, trust.
Right. And honestly, and I've been saying this all week long, Jacksonville is pretty good against the outside. Mm-hmm. They really aren't in the inside, and that's where Shakir lives. His snap share is low. They might bump that up a bit this week. In the necessity of having to score points in a playoff game, Shakir may get to that 70% snap level that he rarely does, but there's precedent for that.
Absolutely. And if you look, and just to say what you said, final 6 weeks of the regular season, Jacksonville was top 10 in terms of fantasy points per game to perimeter receivers, but they were actually below league average to slot receivers, and that's where Khalil Shakir lives. So, Jim, let's do a pick 'em here. We got to pick at least 3 players on the screen here that we like to exceed their projected point totals. Which 1 or 2 really jump off that you're the most like, yep, that player's going over that number?
Well, to backdoor it in, can't go with Cooper, can't go with Pearsall because we don't even know if he's playing. So that leaves us, we only got to eliminate 1 more. So in terms of who, I almost might say Cook.
Yeah. Go Allen, Shakir, and Washington.
What do you think?
Washington is my must. He was going to be in here no matter what. So if you're like, hey, give me the Buffalo guys, I was adding Washington in regardless.
And Shakir is super low. Yeah. And so, I mean, his chance of scoring a touchdown are actually reasonable in this game. And that puts him right over immediately.
Yep. And fancy spin, PPR scoring, 5 for 59 gets you there.
Done.
And I will trust in Josh Allen more often than not. So let's go ahead and lock in that lineup there. Get your entries in this main event. This is going to be a really fun slate with these 4 teams. Super excited to see what happens in these 2 matchups. But Jim, we're going to flip gears now as I scroll through here. Go into the nightcap. Chargers, Patriots. Like I asked you for the early slate, what matchups are we looking at here? Who's the player that we have to have break down this game for me?
Honestly, we don't like what McConkey's done recently, but they play a lot of man in New England. They have 2 bigger corners. They're better against physical receivers. I think McConkey's going to be slicing and dicing across quick routes to get the ball out of Herbert's hand. I think he's a player we like. The defense against the run for the Patriots has really slipped. And I know they were without Milton Williams for a while, but you can get to the perimeter on them. And Hampton's been very good despite the bad line of getting there. And then obviously on the other side, Travion Henderson certainly looks good. Hunter Henry, we probably don't want a tight end. And if we get stuck, we live with that. But there are some good options here.
Well, Jim, I got good or bad news. We're really aligned on this stuff. So it's either we're in a really good spot or you and I are both way off. So I'm going to hope
that could go either way.
I'm going to hope it's the former, to say the least. I'm all in on McConkey as well. And this screen just lit up. We just had the holidays lit up like a Christmas tree there. So let's start right up top. We have to have a dedicated quarterback. The good thing is you got a 50-50 shot at whichever your preferred target is. So we got Drake May. Is he your preferred quarterback in this game?
They both run. They're dead even.
Yeah.
So if we needed a lock, it doesn't matter because I think either way, it's really 50-50 as to outscores. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think if it came down to it, I think I like May. I think he's got the higher ceiling, but I could very well see, like, we could be splitting hairs by the end of, by the end of Sunday night, May's 22.4 and Herbert's 21.8.
Yeah,
and
but
you're
we
within
have
a
4
point.
locks and we only have 3 spins, so
yeah, I'm fine with keeping May. And then Stevenson's a top projected running back. We have Hampton, who you seem quite bullish on, and then the 2 Chargers receivers who I have both below Ladd and McConkey. So for me here, I really like Hampton as a lock. I'm intrigued by Stevenson because maybe everybody wants the explosive Henderson, but maybe Stevenson's where we differentiate to win this main event.
I like that. And it's the main event that is differentiation. And Stevenson will be used in goal line situations and they will throw him the ball. So he is very viable.
Yep. So we'll go Stevenson, and then you're bullish on Hampton. So let's go with Hampton there as well. And then we're going to spin for these last 3 spots. So here we go. Spin it and hope we can get McConkey, which we don't. So at this point now, do we basically say, hey, let's take Henderson down in the flex, corner the market on New England running backs, and then see what happens?
Yeah, I think that's a great call.
So we'll do that. And then we're spinning for a dedicated wide receiver and then a flex spot. If we get Quentin Johnson for the 3rd straight time, I wouldn't be upset, but I'm with you. I would much rather have McConkey against Marcus Jones than either of the other 2 receivers on the perimeter against the likes of Christian Gonzalez. So if we get McConkey in the receiver spot, who's the guy that we're missing that we kind of want in that flex spot? Would it be like a Stephon Diggs?
Well, Diggs would be the one because, and we've seen it all year. When there's like a big game or a primetime game when they go to Diggs heavy. He has his 100-yard games all in big spots. And then there are games where they just like 2 for 20. They don't use them. They snap shares low. This is one of those games they're obviously going to get their money's worth out of them.
You would think. So let's go ahead. We'll do the final spin. Demario Douglas, we get one of them. So we did get Stephon Diggs in there. So I guess we're Patriots fans here, Jim.
We are Patriots fans.
That's right.
And a lot of passes to Hampton.
Yep, that's right. And I mean, he should be out there. So I certainly like it. And just like the other one, Jim, let's knock out the pick'em entry here. So you do have to have a player from each team. So we are locked in to using Omari and Hampton, which is good. But you were bullish on him. You like it. Yeah. And I like that number for him too, especially in the passing game. So now we need 2 Patriots guys. Which players here really jump off at you going over their projection?
I mean, again, the big game, primetime game all year, it's been Diggs. Diggs has been massive. They got to go to him, right?
I would think so. Stephon Diggs is my preferred one, I think, of the Patriots guys. So I'm definitely looking to Stephon Diggs. And then
who do you like for the last one?
Yeah, I know this is the tricky one.
It's not Demario Douglas.
I don't know if I'm surprised. Let me say it this way. I don't know if I should be surprised that Henderson's projected lower than Stevenson, but for some reason, that one's really catching my eye.
I think that's a good call because the Chargers are sound defensively, but they're prone to giving up the big play. And I think Henderson could really rip one off, and he rips up one long run, and that could be most at 11 points.
Yeah. Easy enough. We see him do it on numerous occasions this year with 50-yard touchdown. So let's do that. We'll do Travion Henderson, Stephon Diggs, and Omari on Hampton. Try to 5X our picks. And right there's a top 5 projected lineup, Jim, with all Patriots plus Omari and Hampton, which could be certainly quite good. So, Jim, thank you so much for joining, breaking down everything on on Sunday for Wild Card Weekend. Go ahead, let everyone know where they can find you. If you got any playoff content, the floor is yours, my friend.
You can catch me on the X at Jim Coventry NFL. I do have posted my playoff wild card notes. They're not expansive like they are in the past. This is no longer the Bible. It's a good couple paragraphs on each game, some prop bets, some betting advice, maybe some good bathroom reading, but nonetheless, it's worth taking a look at maybe.
Were you pro Texans in those write-ups?
Oh, I love the Texans. And
Okay.
it's funny, Colby, because about 7-ish weeks ago, I went out and I said, I see a chance where the Texans could go to the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
I really felt like, and then they kind of went on a bit of a run after that, but I was kind of ahead of the curve on that. And I don't know who's coming out, but they have a real shot.
Well, I was going to say, if you were anti-Texans, I would have edited out in post where you said your X handle. But because it was pro-Texans, make sure you follow Jim at Jim Coventry NFL over on X. Check out everything there. You can find me over on X at Colby R. Conway. And if you want to spin to win and experience the newest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, no better time than right now. Join in on the action. Download the FantasySpin app today, and we look forward to seeing you on the leaderboard. What's up, y'all? Hope you enjoyed the content. For the avoidance of doubt, please note that I, Colby Conway, am a DFS player entering these contests under the username Colby Conway. The strategies and recommendations in this video do not necessarily reflect the views of Fantasy Spin. Please play responsibly and visit fantasyspin.com/responsible gaming to take advantage of Fantasy Spin's responsible gaming resources.